Hi guys, I'm Aussie Villain and welcome back to Queen of the South. It is a summer transfer special today as we move from Season 6 into Season 7. And it's an important summer window for us as well. We know we've got money to spend. We can see from the team report what the game thinks is our best 11. Now, we know that Vital we'll have a look at what's already happening, but we know Vital is leaving. Shakir Omar's loan is up and there's no real sign of him being able to stay. And Montano in particular has a minimum release fee that we just can't get rid of, and there's clubs that are interested in him. So it's going to be a very interesting window. Morty, you making your mind up here? So that is that. Now, what we know is happening already, if we go to transfers, as we look at the outs, we know that Jake Eastwood is leaving, his second choice goalkeeper at this point anyway. We know that Vital is off to Spain, and we know that Ramos is off back to Uruguay. So that's the outs that we know are happening. And the players we know are coming in, we've got Lecce, who is basically coming in to replace Vital, younger player, good positioning, unambitious. I'm not too concerned about. I'm hoping it just means he won't want to leave. But yeah, 19 years old. I'm excited to see what he can do for us. And the other one, Fabian Luzzi, we know he has signed a contract to join us permanently, so that is excellent news. So we know at least one of the main two up front will be around next season. And if we have a look at the finances, well, we have 14.5 million to spend, more or less. We have 70 grand in the wage budget. Now that's going to increase a little bit with the players that are leaving. You can see we're currently committed to spending 141 compared to the 155 that we're currently spending. So we're going to have the best part of 100 grand to spend. A little bit less than that, actually, 85 grand a week to spend. So it's going to be big. It's going to be important. This needs to be a successful window. So let's see what happens. Alright, so I just wanted to show you guys exactly the process that I go through to try and sign players so you can kind of see what we're doing. This is my short list. Now, the two filters I have on are either don't need a work permit or they're likely to get a work permit. I don't need to see players that can't get a work permit because there's no point. There's no point even wasting my time looking at them. So these are players that are interested in a transfer for any position, as you can see. And you can see here the estimated value and also the current wage, which almost always, unless they're transfer listed, you'll need to go higher. So, I mean, it's all well and good to say we can't afford this guy, but it's all well and good to say, oh, we can afford some transfer fees, but, look at the wages for this guy, for example. Or we could go the other way, say, oh, we can afford that wage, but look at the transfer fee. So this is kind of the problem that we get to. You can see where they're sorted here by their scouting recommendation. Now that can always be a little bit misleading. I sort of shortlist the guys that I like. So we've got a lot of players here that you can see are interested in a transfer that we can look at getting. So we're not necessarily short of any options. And then we have the same thing for loan players as well. So all the players that would be able to come on loan that would be interested in doing so. So that's the process that I go through. We have scouts out that are constantly scouting, looking for players for us. As a reminder, I don't use the player search. My scouts find players for me. So yeah, this is what we have to work with, and obviously there'll be a moving target because there'll be more players scouted through the summer window. So let's hope that. And if you're looking at Kerr Smith, I would love to get Kerr Smith in. Manchester City want a ridiculous loan fee as well as quite a substantial wage. So. Yeah, this is what we're working with. Let's hope we can find some stars. All right, a quick update to wrap up the league season. Hamilton will be promoted. Dundee will be relegated after the playoff has taken place. So it's both Dundee, not a good week, good season, I should say, if you're in Dundee. Both teams relegated, and it will be Queen of the South. It'll be Hamilton, and it will be Livingston that will be getting promoted. So that is that wrapped up. In terms of the Scottish Cup, it was Celtic who went on to win the final. So it's good to see the underdogs coming up trumps, isn't it? So that is that. And we do have some end of season awards. Top goal scorer went to David Driver with 14. Shakir Omar actually only got 12. He was free scoring at the start of the Champions League, which is why 20 odd goals. But not so much in the league. Gilchrist was the Scottish Young Players of the Year, so well done to him. He's had a good season quietly, hasn't he? So there he's won another award there. Manager of the season went to Celtic, and the players in Team of the Season, it was just Bernard that made what was essentially a Glasgow 11 with Bernard and McLean from Hibs. Who's that? Oh, I actually do want to sign this guy because he's right-footed, isn't he? Yeah, perfect right-footed winger, but they want a lot of cash for him, which I don't think we'll be able to manage. So that's a shame. So there we go. That is the season wrapped up. No, don't go, please, I'll do anything. I can't get on my knees and beg, mate. The green screen doesn't go all the way to the floor. The desk will be in the way of the camera. It'll be a whole thing. No, wait, come back. So it has happened. We have lost, well, we haven't lost him, but he's gone back to his parent club as Shakir Omar. And unfortunately, I was hoping maybe he'd go back there and be transfer listed or loan listed. He's gone back there as a regular starter. So what I don't want to do is blow so much money trying to get him back. We could maybe offer the 12 to 15 million, but that would then mean that that's it. Our transfer business would be done on one player. And I don't want to do that, no matter how good he is. I don't want to do it. So it may well be after what's been an absolutely stunning time at the club that Shakir Omar as a Queen of the South player, that does come to an end. But we'll add him, he's already on the short list, then we'll keep track of him, obviously. And if there's a chance to bring him back, then obviously we will try and do that. The other thing that has happened, and I did have this set up, but of course I went and clicked on something, is that Lutzi has officially joined us. So a B-rated signing by the fans as he signs permanently. So that's good. At least one of the two are here, and maybe not the one ideally we would have wanted, but I mean, he's not bad as Lutzi, is he? So I'm sure he'll do just fine. All right, we have our first transfer of the summer, and it is Daryl Nicholson, a centre-back. We signed him from St Johnstone, £1.2 million. You can see potentially he's quite good. We signed him as a fringe player on £900 a week. This is what we've signed. Basically, we've signed a centre-back that has a little bit of potential that is going to be sort of he is Scottish, as in he's going to be, what's the word, like the... Not club trained, nation trained. That's the word I'm looking for. So good in the air. He's got some good mental attributes. It's technically where maybe he won't quite become an absolute star for us, but he's more than good enough to play in the league. And he's been playing for St Johnstone. Last season he played 12 games in the Premiership, 3 Man of the Match awards, an average rating over 7. He's ready to play in the league now, and hopefully he'll develop into an even better player than that. So that's the first signing done. 1.2 million, I think, is a decent, probably a relatively fair fee for him. Now, another signing that we have done that will be coming in on July 1st when his contract expires is Takahiro Nakai. Now, his contract was up at Manchester United, and so we've gone and snapped him up. Squad player, 12.5 grand a week, as I say, a free transfer. This is what we got here. He's a midfielder, and I think he's going to do okay. He's going to be sort of a bit of a creative, loose cannon, let's say. I'm thinking, particularly if we are just playing the two in midfield, as an advanced playmaker in there, he could be quite decent. He's got good passing, good technique, first touch and dribbling. Vision is good, flair is good, so he might create a little bit something out of nothing. He already has likes to play the killer balls, try tricks. I think he's going to be just a bit of that loose cannon sort of player. He's a Japanese international, and he has played in the Premier League before, not regularly and not particularly well, but I'll come through at Real Madrid as well. I don't know. I'm just taking a little bit of a punt on him just to see exactly what happens. So one in now, one coming in July, and, we'll keep looking. All right, a quick European update as all those changes have taken place now. So the Scottish Premiership has moved up one place to 10th. So that is good. That'll obviously help us in attracting players to the league, although it just means that probably Celtic and Rangers can get better players more so than we can. If we have a look here, we've moved up the rankings 17 places to 43rd. We are now inside the top 50 teams in Europe, so that's very exciting. Homegrown players for the Champions League, we can see there we've got a couple, but in terms of club trained, we've got do we have first team players that are going to, so we don't have club trained players still, and this hurts us because what it means basically is that we have to register a squad that's 4 players short, and that is always going to be a pain. And in the coefficients, we've moved up 3 places to 7th, so 1 team in the Champions League. So that means that as the second place team, we get into the 3rd qualifying round rather than the 2nd one. Now, whether that's for this season or next, it's just for next season, isn't it? So this season we'll still have the early kickoff, which of course hampered us last season in terms of getting a squad together. Hopefully that won't be the case this season. We have breaking news this evening out of Queen of the South, where the club have broken their transfer record with the £5.25 million signing of 21-year-old Danish striker Jonathan Agnes. Now let's cross live to Dumfries, where manager Aussie Villain is holding a press conference. Is Jonathan as good as Shakir Omar? I mean, obviously not. No one's as good as the great man. But Shakir is gone. We need to forget about him. We need to move forward. And Shakir, if you're watching, please come back. So here we go. We have signed what is essentially Shakir Omar's replacement, as close as we can get. 21-year-old striker Jonathan Agnes. He has joined from FC Copenhagen. He's Danish. He's 21, as I said. 5.25 million, 14, almost 15 grand a week as a fringe player. He will play a lot more than that. The reason I just do this is so that if they're not playing, they don't complain about it. So that's the reason that he's got that. There is no release fee, I don't think. No. You can see all the other bonuses there. He moves up as a squad player, but as I say, he's here to essentially replace Shakir Omar, so he'll be playing lots of games. Let's have a look at him. He is, in some respects, maybe as good, if not perhaps better than Shakir Omar. What he should be able to do as well is play as that inside forward on the left, because he's right-footed, because he's got decent finishing, decent dribbling. He's a good all-rounder. He's a very good passer of the ball, decent flow, good flair as well, decent vision. So I think he will do okay. Now, if we do go and compare him to Shakir Omar, the game doesn't actually break, which is surprising. But you can see that now Shakir Omar's in the blue. Physically, Shakir Omar is better. Vision-wise, Angus has better sight. Everywhere else, they're roughly even. Now, given that that Angus is 21, Shakir Omar's 23, he's got that couple more years of development. Then, maybe by the time, 2 years' time, Agnes will be just as good. You can see Shakir Omar here is wanted. He's wanted by some bigger clubs, and I mean, we would have had to spend all of our transfer budget on him. And I mean, let me know what you guys think. I really didn't want to do that. I just feel like that would have been a mistake to basically spend everything, and we would have been left with the rest of the squad more or less untouched. So I just didn't feel like that was a sensible thing to do. All right, we are at July 1st, which is when, obviously, the transfer window really does heat up. Now, a couple of outs. I'm not sure. I don't think I managed to tell you, but Josh Dunn has left. I just basically gave up on him. He's not going to be anything that's particularly useful to us. Mitch Clark has left to Wigan, £900,000, so that's a decent fee for someone we paid $250,000 for. That was rapidly falling out of favour with us. And the other ones were a couple of that we knew were happening have left. And Callum Reid, who I briefly had high hopes for, he's gone out on loan to League Two, so we'll see what happens to him there. And of course, Vital has left as well. And as you can see over here, we have got our two players in that we were expecting. Actually, if we go back to inbox, we can see a little bit better. Both are B- rated, which is absolutely fine. So Nakai, sort of back up all round in midfield, particularly as a number 10, I think. And Lecce here, our centre back, who will definitely put pressure on the top two, Bernard and Walker, to start most of the big games, I would think. But that's all happened, and in terms of finances, we're still looking okay. We've got $7.5 million to spend. We've still got 50 grand a week or so in wages. I think we probably need a left back. We need someone. Excuse me, if you look at the squad, I'm sort of getting together here. Vazquez is going to be the number one left back, I would imagine, but we need backup. Right now, the backup for him is Thompson. So I think that, not that Thompson's bad backup, but I kind of want Thompson to be sort of the main backup to Irving in midfield as a left-footed Mazzella. So yeah, that is kind of what it is. And if we wanted to play this way, or is it this way? Whichever way it is, it just depends who's in midfield. We've got Lutzi that can go up top. We've got Eddie Johnson who can come in and play as one of those front three. And we've also got Suljic as well. So we're not really desperately in need of signing someone to play this way as well. But well, I haven't really completely decided what's our best option yet. But anyway, this is how we're looking. And yeah, I think a left back for sure. And then we can kind of see where we're at. Okay, some more news, and we have sold Jamie McGrath. Now, I wasn't expecting to do this, but 4.2 million. Some of it's up front, some of it's in installments, but he's off to Young Boys, which is ironic because he's 30 now. And that's the main reason why I've decided to sell him. If we didn't sell him now, I don't know if we would have got any sort of decent fee for him. So he had still been a useful player for us. I'm hoping I don't regret doing it, but I mean, he was a good penalty taker, so a lot of these goals that he scored were from penalties, but he was more or less a backup. these days. You know, he wouldn't be in the first choice team if we were picking a big team for try that again. If we were picking a team for a big game in Europe. So to get a decent fee in, maybe we can look now to reinvest that into somebody who's a little bit younger who might develop into that play if they're not already. And another bit of news is that it looks as though there's going to be a board takeover. Now, annoyingly, it looks as though it's going to be a director, which is unlikely to bring in money. But, yeah, anyway, we might have a change of ownership. Okay, we have our left back. Excellent news. Nilton Varela, I think you would pronounce it. 1.2 million we've signed him for. We've signed him from Eintracht Frankfurt. He's going to be on 14 grand a week as a squad player. He's possibly, well, let's have a look at him. He's possibly back up for Vazquez. What we do have, though, is two very good left backs now, which is excellent. He's 26, so he's a little bit older than ideally I'd be signing players, but he's quite quick. He's not the worst in the air. He's got a bit of strength, so he should be decent enough defensively, and he can get forward. So I'm quite pleased with it. I did actually try to sign him from Napoli at the time, but he went to Eintracht Frankfurt instead. At that point, we really didn't have that. Was pre-Champions League for us. Or it might have actually been going into our first season in the Champions League, and we just didn't have the money to compete with them. But now we do. He was transfer listed there, and so we've come and snapped him up. Now, a little bit of disappointing news is this. Luciano Martinez. This is the reason why I sold McGrath, because I thought he would come in, he would take over as, or probably take over from Davenport as that deep line playmaker, although he's not quite good enough defensively, or certainly in a tackle anyway, but everything else about him was quite good, and he's gone and joined Burnley. So, yeah, kind of a kick in the balls, that one. Oh, the other news about Varela, he injured himself at his introduction, so yeah, that happened as well. Alright, so we have another signing, and this guy could be very good for us. It is Alan Ibarra Ngudi. Let's go with that. We've signed him from Bordeaux, 1.6 million, a few add-ons, so the fee could rise eventually up to 3.3 million. And, well, let's have a look at him here. He's going to be on 15.5 grand a week. There is no minimum release fee. No, he starts as a regular player, moving up to an important player. And I think that will just about be how things go for him, to be honest. He's 21 now. This is what we've got. Now, I've looked for him to be the left-sided Mazzella to take over from Alan. Is it Alan Irving? No, he's the coach, isn't he? Andy Irving. You can see that what I like about him, vision, passing, technique are all there. He's a decent crosser of the ball. He's quite decent physically, and he's a model citizen. So he's going to be good down the line when it comes to mentoring. Players as well. So I'm quite pleased with him. He's got good off-the-ball movement, good flair as well. So if we wanted to use him as a left-sided winger, he could probably do that. Probably have to be on support, wouldn't he, with just the crossing. But anyway, I think he's going to do quite well. The one issue maybe is work rate, teamwork, positioning. But we can work on that. The fact he's 21 means there is still a little bit of room for him to grow. And we can see there he's been playing Ligue 2, I think is the second division, isn't it? But anyway, he's played a lot for Bordeaux in their first team and done quite well, particularly at the second level. But even playing in the top flight, just under 7 average, that's absolutely fine. He'll be better with us. I am very hopeful anyway. So let me know what you think of him. I have high hopes. All right, we have our Champions League third knockout round qualifying draw. We have been seeded, which is nice. Let's have a look and see who else is involved here. So the seeded teams are Besiktas, Dynamo Kiev, or PAOK, and PSV. The unseeded teams. So it's, what's that, Bulgarian team or Spartak Moscow. Maritimo, is that how you say that? The Portuguese team, Basel, and Antwerp. So there's Portuguese side could be tricky, but there's no real, we don't want these, we really don't want this team. But let's see who we get here. Besiktas get Maritimo, which is probably the one ideally we'd like to avoid. Eindhoven get Bâle. Dynamo Kiev, who of course we knocked out last season, get Antwerp. So that means we are going to get Spartak Moscow, or the Bulgarians. You'd imagine though Spartak Moscow would get the better of that. And Spartak Moscow, I mean, Russian teams tend to not be so great. Hopefully, we're not going to get a good one. So that is our first Champions League qualifying round. Has Shakir returned any of my calls? Or did he get the flowers? Why doesn't he love me? Thank you, everybody. Thank you. And, well, we have a fine tradition at this club of signing aging Argentinian stars and giving them a swan song. It was just Tevez, really, wasn't it? But anyway, that was until now. Ladies and gentlemen of Dumfries, I give you Leandro Paredes. Leandro? He's on the pooper. Oh, for Christ's sake. So there we go. We have signed Leandro Paredes. He was on a free transfer. He accepted an offer to come on trial, which I didn't think he would do. And he signed for us. Now, he's on a little bit more. Tevez is on about £250 a week. He's on 14 grand. So he's not slumming it, that's for sure. We're signing him as a regular starter. Now, he is 33, as you can see there, and we've signed him. It's a one-year deal with an additional year if he plays 15 league games. Now, my plan for him is he's going to play European games, and Davenport will then move in. We'll have a look at him while I explain my plans for him. While Davenport will play in sort of the league games as that sort of more defensively minded midfielder. Now, physically, there's not much left of him. He's below average at best. But what I do like about him is that mentally and technically, he's still quite decent. He's going to take a good free kick for us. He can pass the ball, obviously. So I think it's a little bit of experience in our midfield, which I don't think will hurt us at all. If we have a look at where he's been, he was on loan at Ajax last season, did okay. He was at Lyon for a couple of years after Paris Saint-Germain let him go. And again, he's been okay playing in top divisions. I mean, he's gone for how many? He's gone for $91 million or pounds, over his career. So he's a quality player. And hopefully, a little bit like Carlos Tevez, we're going to get the last out of him. And if he doesn't work out this season, then we can, we'll just let him go for next season. If not, we'll get him for 2 years, and that'll be 35, at which case he'll probably be done. No, I mean, we don't need him, but, it's a bargain. Just trust me on this, Your Highness. It's going to work out very well. Where's he going to play? I don't know. No idea. On the football pitch. So this is either a masterstroke or I've wasted £1.3 million. I don't know which one that is, but we have signed John Carlos Duque. he's a left winger. We signed him. He's Colombian, 20 years old. We signed him from Deportivo Cali. You can see he's already an important player and could improve significantly. He had a 1.3 million release fee. We signed him as a star player on 8.5 grand a week. You can see the ins and outs of his contract. We managed to get it without a release fee, which was important. And let's have a look at him. I mean, he's quite good, isn't he? Physically, I mean, he's an absolute whippet. The problem with this guy is that he's left-footed only. We don't play with wingers. We play with inside forwards when we play with wide players. And yeah, I mean, I don't really know where he's going to play. And we've also signed him as a star player. I have two thoughts. One is we just use him as a left winger when we play with wingers now. The other thought is, given that he has finishing of 12, do we look to convert him to an inverted winger or something? Like just someone that just runs a lot. And yeah. I mean, well, it was 1.3 million. I mean, I wonder if I could just sell him now and make them. The issue is that he had to be a star player. That was non-negotiable for him. And I don't really know where we're going to play him. But how could you say no to that for 1.3 million? I should say we did also make another signing, Emmanuel Genoa. I don't know how you say that. This guy is very much just a shot in the dark. He's on £230 a week on a free transfer, so he's effectively still on a free transfer. He is a winger. He's Argentinian. I'm not really sure how he got a work permit, if I'm completely honest, but that's fine. He is a right-footed winger, so in theory he could play the other side. I may have signed him for that particular reason. He's not good enough to play for us just now, not certainly on a regular basis or in bigger games. But physically, again, he's not bad at all. He can dribble, he can cross, he can pass a ball. And where did he come from? He came from the Argentinian League. I have no idea how he has got himself a work permit. But he has, and yeah, well, I'll probably I might even just look to loan him out this season. I haven't really decided yet. I just kind of signed him on a whim. Alright, we are at game day of our first game of the Premiership season, which is what we start with, and it's going to be Rangers at home, so a tough start. It is going to be Spartak Moscow, which is our second game of the season, so that'll be next episode. Rangers in the league, and then Spartak Moscow in Europe, so that's all very exciting. And the latest on the takeover is that it's on the rocks. It's on the rocks, it's off the rocks. Who knows what's going to happen, to be honest, but it doesn't look like we're getting a tycoon takeover, so it doesn't really matter, does it, at that point, as long as they don't take some money away from me. Let's have a look at the squad we've got to start the season then. And after maybe a slightly disappointing summer transfer special last season, this summer has been very, very busy indeed. So if we start with our striking options, now it might be one of these, it might be two of these, depending what formation we're playing. But Lutzi is the main man. We've got Suljic, who's always scored goals for us. We've got Johnson, who came in January and looked good, only young as well, 18. We've got the new man, Jonathan Angus, who has had a decent pre-season and you can already see starting to improve, which is good. And Clockerty is the other man. We've had a lot of interest in him. Aberdeen and Hearts seem to be very keen, but the fact that he's going to be club trained means that we just cannot afford to get rid of him. We need him to be registered in European squads because otherwise it's just an empty spot. So we might as well have him rather than nobody. If we drop back to the number 10s, Omar Bermudez is the number one in this position as far as I'm concerned, and he will become club trained in the next 12 months as well. So that'll be huge to have him as a club trained player. One of the new boys, Takai, I think he could be useful for us. You can see the star ratings down the bottom there. Very, very highly rated. So we'll see how he gets on. Other players here that we've seen, Suljic, Harding, who will be predominantly playing further back, and Angus as well could play here. Over on the right, if we are going to play with wingers, well, the main guy, we've got the new man, Emmanuel Genoa, and we'll just kind of see what happens with him. But obviously, Johnson could play as an inverted winger. Lutzi, Angus, they could all play out here. Just depends exactly how we want to attack things. To be honest, Doopy could as well. Over on the left, similar sort of situation. Another of the new men here, Duque. I'm really excited to see what he can do. And like I say, he could play on the right-hand side as an inverted winger or inside forward as well. He's just not been trained there at all as of yet. Over on this left-hand side, Vasquez could play as an out-and-out winger. We've got Ibarra, one of the new boys, who could play out here as well. And it's mostly the same players, isn't it? If we drop back down into midfield, this is where I think we've improved, but I'm still not completely happy that we've got the quality that we have elsewhere. But Paredes is, 59 caps for Argentina. You don't get that by accident. So let's hope he has a good season for us. And if he stays beyond that, fantastic. It means he's had a good season. Other players in midfield, Andy Irving, who signed a contract extension to stay with the club. We'll probably look to sell him on before that runs out, to be honest. But he's still here right now. Nakai, who can play a little bit further back if we need him to. Dominic Thompson, again, we'll probably look to cash in on him. He's one of these guys, though, that is just very useful because he can play midfield, he can play left back very well. So he's, I think, someone that's, maybe I won't cash in on him. I think he's a useful player to have in your squad. You guys, you all have those sorts of guys, don't you? He's just a useful guy to have around. McPhee, who has signed a contract extension. This will probably be his last season with us. He's been injured in pre-season. You can see his pace and acceleration has dropped off even further. I may even just try and get rid of him this summer, to be honest. We'll see how we go there. Davenport, who is no longer club captain, so that is it's a shame for him, but he's not quite at that level for us, but still a very useful, very, very useful player. Ibarra and we're just going to go with Ibarra. I'm really excited to see what he can do as that left-sided Mazzella for us. We've got Harding, who is, I always want to say he's the forgotten man of midfield because he's very, very good. And then two youngsters, Hardy, who I would have sold this summer, but to be honest, he wins training every week. He's a really, really good trainer. He is ambitious. He is club trained. So mentally he's coming along and physically he's coming along very, very well. It is just technically, I don't know what to do to make him play football. It's just it's such a shame. But anyway, he's in the first team squad, as is another of the club trained players in Jamie Watson. He's a year younger, and he is, again, he's not too bad. It's just technically, we've got very good footballers. They just can't play football. Mentally and physically, they're all very good. Now, if we go back a little bit further to the fullbacks, Montano, nobody came in for him as of yet. Bournemouth are interested. He has that release fee of, what's his release fee? 17, 18 million, I think 16 million. So hopefully, anyway, no one will come in for him. The main guys out here, the other main guy, to be honest, is Gilchrist. They'll share the role. And, Gilchrist can play in midfield, but I really want to try and nail him in as a wing-back for us. The centre-backs, Bernard, well, he's been very, very good for us. And the other one is Walker. I think they keep their shirts to start the season in the first choice team. 7 caps now for Scotland for Andrew Walker. The second choice guys, well, we've got Tyler Magliori. He's a very, very quick centre-back. And the other guy is, of course, the new man, Lecce, who is, I mean, he's almost the perfect replacement for or backup for Bernard at this point, because he's got good positioning, but he also can pass the ball. So he comes straight in as that ball-playing centre-back for us. And the sort of backup to the backup is Daryl Nicholson, who we got from St Johnstone this season. And he's just here to learn this season. We'll give him some cup games and whatnot, but there's a lot of potential there, I think, and hope. Over on the left-hand side, well, Montano can play either side if we need him to. Thompson, I've already said, is a decent left back. The main guys here, though, are Vazquez and Varela, who is back fit just, so we'll see him next episode in one game or the other. And the other guy who supposedly can play back here is Duque. As an attacking wing-back, there's a lot to like about this, but he doesn't have positioning, he doesn't have tackling, he doesn't have marking, he's not a defender at all, so it would very much be an attacking wing-back. And the goalkeepers, we have two of them right now. Santizo, a wonder kid who just continues to get better and better. He's looking like an absolute bargain right now. And the backup to him is Harry Stone. Yeah, I mean, he's never going to be anything other than a backup, but as far as a backup goes, he's not too bad. But I would like to get somebody else in. We do have one or two in the youth team, but no one that I'd want to play in the first team. So I wouldn't mind getting somebody else in. We might even get someone in on loan. Stone's contract's up at the end of the year. I'd say cash in, but 20 grand. We're not really going to cash in, are we? We're probably better off just hanging on to him and seeing how he gets on this season. So that is that. A bit of a wrap up. Is there anything I forgot to tell you? I don't think so on this occasion. We've sold 7.75, signed 9.25 million, and of course we sold a few more players off over here. 18 million to 12 or just over 12 million spent last season. So we are actually operating at a profit in the transfer. Well, not so much this season, but overall the last two seasons we're about even. So that's, that's not bad considering we're still moving forward. We are over our wage budget a little bit just now, but we still got 5 million in the budget, so we can easily even things up there. But yeah, that brings us to the end. If you've enjoyed that, guys, thumbs up. Let me know how you think we did. I got rid of some players I wasn't expecting to. I think overall, we're a much stronger side, so that's a positive. And I'm very, very excited to see how this team gets on this coming season. Is it good enough to beat Celtic over the course of a season? I don't know. I'd like to say yes, but they're just so good, and they have so much more money than we do. But I hope anyway we should be good enough to be able to beat Rangers again. You can see pre-season there a couple of good results. We beat Schalke away, we beat Everton at home, and a couple of dodgy ones in there as well. But yeah, that's how we'll get things off next time. We'll play Rangers at home, Spartak away, and hopefully we get 2 wins. Take care.